Hey y'all, it is freezing out here and I'm gonna do this in my car. Okay, that's better. It is 24 degrees outside. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's freezing right now this morning. Plus it's a little loud. You may even be able to hear the airplane fighter jet flying by. I can see it right there. Anyways, I wanted to do kind of this closing video for the March for Life, and I titled this, Why I March. Now, so that way you don't have to see me in my car, I'm gonna transition now into the actual footage that I took from the march. This is the first time I've ever done this, trying to give you a sense of what it's like to be at the march, because unfortunately, the march gets little to no attention, especially in the media and the news. You may hear anti-abortion march, annual, whatever, but realize this has been going on since 1974, the year after Roe v. Wade. It is the largest and longest protest march in American history. And as you can see, there are hundreds of thousands of people. And one of the reasons why I love going to the march is seeing the diversity, seeing the uniqueness of everybody there. You see young, all the way from infants, all the way to the elderly. You see black, white, Hispanic, Asian, every race, creed, gender, every religion. I saw a lot more non-Catholics there this year. Saw a lot of Lutherans. As you'll see, as I get closer to the Supreme Court, you'll see a guy holding a little poster board saying "Atheists for Life," because this is not just a religious thing. This is a biological, scientific, natural understanding of the uniqueness of life. And so I wanted to share, first and foremost, why I march. This was my 16th time marching, and every year is unique, every year is special. Some years we have more people, some years we have less. But regardless, the one reason why I march, and there's many, but the very first one is for myself. My mother had me when she was 17. She was a graduating senior in high school, ready to begin her life, and then I came into her life. And if it wasn't for her faith and for understanding what life is, I don't know if I would be here today. Thankfully, both of my parents respect life and understand the responsibility of raising a child, and so they got married, and here I am to this day. The other reason why I march is because of the 60+ million abortions that have happened in this country since Roe v. Wade in January 22nd, 1973. To put that in perspective, if you put every single war, all the casualties that we've suffered in America since the Revolutionary War to up to this day, it doesn't even come close to how many abortions we've had in this country. I march for my family. I march for my family members that are pro-life, and I march for those that are not pro-life, because I hope and pray that my witness and hundreds of thousands of other witnesses may change their heart and minds and have a conversion. I also want to focus on this understanding of the uniqueness of life. This was something that was kind of the theme for this year's March for Life, and I mentioned it just a minute ago. And I want you to understand the uniqueness of life begins at the moment of conception. Yes, if you are a religious person, in Jeremiah, God says to Jeremiah, "Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you." He says it over and over again, that God is the creator of all life. Now, if you're not a religious person, you could still be pro-life at the moment of conception, because we have shown scientifically at that moment of conception, there forms a zygote, a living being, a living species, which is a human species, at the very smallest microscopic level. And at that moment, there's DNA formed that has never existed, has never been around in human history until that very moment. And that DNA contains everything, the potential of what the human person is, mainly what hair color you're going to have, what eye color you're going to have, how tall you're going to be, what gender you are, your fingerprints, what are you going to be susceptible to, what are you going to be resistant to. All of those things are taken into a factor at that moment of conception, and all it needs is time and a safe space within the mother's womb. The thing I love about the march is that one day, I know that Roe v. Wade will be overturned. And I know a lot of people are thinking, why are you putting this video out 3 weeks after the fact that the march happened? The reason why is because it's still in the news. Many of you have seen, hopefully you've seen, the atrocities that have been proposed legislatively in various states like New York, like Virginia, where it's gone so extreme that we're talking about killing babies that have survived abortions after birth. That's an infanticide. That is murdering infants after being born. And I don't know about you, gang, but I'm not for that. I'm not for that. I'm not for 9 months and the mother's crowning and she just changes her mind. I'm not all the way up until the moment of conception. And we could talk about it later as far as, all the other what ifs and this and that and whatever. And I'll be happy to discuss, not debate, but I'll discuss with anybody because, I'm an easygoing guy. I don't like to, stand up for a lot of protests or anything like that. But this is one that it hits close to home. It's within my faith, it's within science, it's within common sense. And I'm telling you, we've got to stand up for life. We got to stand up life from the moment of conception to natural death because Satan is alive and well and this culture of death is real. And if we don't stand up against this, then it will overtake us and then we'll lose all dignity of the person, of the human life. That our human dignity is what makes us unique. It's what gives us our ability to love others and to love God and to love neighbor. Now, as I was saying, I truly believe that Roe v. Wade will be overturned. And I always think, what will my children and my grandchildren think? When my children and grandchildren are hearing of the atrocities of Roe v. Wade and they look to me and they say, Dad or Grandpa, how could this have happened? See, that's the thing. I want abortion to be unthinkable, that we are supporting women, we're supporting families so much that they don't even have to think about choosing that because they know that they're going to be loved and supported. But I want my grandchildren and my children to think, how could this happen in this country? And then they're going to turn to me and they're going to say, Grandpa, what did you do? What did you do to help overturn this? And I'll have an answer for them. I can tell them that I walked across the country, that I prayed and supported women for families, and then I also marched several times at the March for Life. It's not about me bragging or trying to say, oh, look at me, because there are people that have been marching for decades. What I hope to do is just raise awareness, and I encourage all of you, if you ever have the chance to go to the March for Life in Washington, D.C., go. If you want to go to the Walk for Life in San Francisco and California, go. If you have a local one in your area, I live in Dallas-Fort Worth, and there's one that is held in Dallas every year. Go to your local ones. Make your voice heard. Talk to your legislators. Tell them that this is not okay, that we need to have laws in place to respect the dignity of children in the womb, for the mothers, and support and care for them, for their fathers, and for their whole family. Okay, thank y'all for listening. Thank you for letting me I'll get off my soapbox now. But I do want to say one quick exciting announcement. The other reason why I was marching and the reason why this march was very special to me this year was because my wife and I are expecting our 5th child, and we couldn't be more excited. My wife is 11 weeks pregnant. Our expected due date is the end of August, the 1st of September, and we are over the moon excited. If you didn't see previously last year, my wife and I, we suffered 2 miscarriages in the span of a year, and including one that I talked about in September. So to get pregnant so quickly and that everything's going great is such a joy, and just proving that God is in control, and praise God. And I know my 2 babies up in heaven are rejoicing for their little brother or sister. So baby number 5, number 3 here that we will, God willing, will be able to see, will be coming soon. So please keep my wife in your prayers. Please keep my family in my prayers, and please keep my family in your prayers, and keep my daughters in your prayers, because if it happens to be a boy, I don't know how they'll take it. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Also, by the time this video goes up, that I think the next day I'll be heading down to Florida for the first vows of the religious sisters and a few other surprises. So if you have any prayer intentions, leave them down in the comments. I would love to pray for you. And until the next time, God bless.